In this video, we're gonna dive into the biggest key to getting over video shyness and how to create amazing content no matter what your experience is. The number one thing that separates the legends and the elite performers from everybody else, and the biggest content hack that I've ever learned that has really changed the game for our income, our success, and our business. Stay tuned. Hey, it's Peter Voogd, and welcome to another episode of YEL 2.0, where we really help you live a life and a business on your terms. This episode is going to be more of a rant, things that have been on my mind and things that have recently happened to me. But I want this podcast to be about expression, and I'm only going to put these out if I feel like they're valuable. I did a mini rant on my Instagram, and a lot of people reached out and said they really needed it. It was the game-changing advice that they needed to help them make a change. So I want to share this with you in a more deep dive, detailed format and give you actual tactics and steps as well. Thank you for you guys that are watching on YouTube. If you're listening on the YEL, thank you so much. If you could please subscribe, it would mean a lot to me. We strive to make sure we give better free content than most people pay thousands for. So we pride ourselves in making sure we give the best possible content for you guys to get results and not be overwhelmed and take real action. And we want to keep them to 10 to 20 minutes because we really value your time at the highest level, and we don't want to have a 2-hour podcast where you actually get only 10 minutes of real value. We want to keep it short because we respect your time. So I have found out, which is crazy, ironic, I don't know, but I've found out in the last 2.5 weeks that our neighbors' kids, who are one's 12 and one's 13, listen to me and follow my stuff and listen to my mixtapes. I found out my brother-in-law, who is 13, follows me on Instagram and now wants to do stuff on Instagram and wants to impact people. My friend's son, who's 16, I found out listens to me. And I'm reminded of how important our platform is. And if anybody, if you have anybody that respects you, that looks up to you, that is inspired by you, then it's your obligation and duty to live your best life, to practice what you preach, to inspire them, to challenge their thinking. So I was reminded how important it was for me to continue to push the envelope, continue to wake people up, continue to challenge people, challenge their thinking, and inspire and lead by example. But if you do this, you'll be taken care of. But it's a shame if you don't get your story and your message and your wisdom out there. It's a shame, and it's somewhat selfish if you're not putting yourself out there and inspiring people. If you have people look up to you, if anyone right now in the world looks up to you or looks to you for guidance or advice or inspiration, it's your job to put it out there. The real fulfillment is in helping others. I know some of you guys need to make more money to realize it's not about the money, but you just have to start paying attention and start listening and paying attention to society. Money is a reflection of the value you add. Money is a reflection of the problem, the size of problem that you solve. And money is a reflection of exceeding customers' expectations. But it won't make you ultimately fulfilled. That's why a ton of people have to make a lot of money and buy nice things to realize that doesn't fulfill them at all. Fulfillment is actually giving back. It's one thing to impact yourself and to crush it and inspire and live a great life and to get results. It's a whole different level of fulfillment and significance when someone else says, "You changed my life. I was going this way and now I'm going this way because of something you said. I was inspired by what you did or where you went." I grew up in a small town. I didn't have any inspiration around me. I had to look for inspiration from other people, from magazines, from books, from TV, I didn't really even have internet, right? So the reason I'm sharing this is because I know you're listening or watching this and you probably want to impact people. You probably want to create more content. You probably want to get your message out there, write a book. I want to give you some thoughts on how to not just understand the importance of this, but literally give you steps. And then people reach out to me. Yeah, but I don't know how to create content. I look bad on camera. I'm nervous. I don't have experience. I don't feel like doing it. Here's the reality. I. If it starts with I, you're on yourself and you're not on purpose. It's not about you. The first thing you have to understand when creating content is it's not about you. It doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter about anything you're feeling. It's not about you. People that are focused on legacy are about others, and they're on purpose and off themselves. So are you on purpose? Are you on movement, on vision, and off yourself? If not, I'm telling you, there's been so many studies that the more selfish someone is, the more unhappy they are. Now, you do want to be selfish in taking care of yourself and saying no to toxicity and negative people and putting your priorities and your family first. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about making sure you maximize your life, but giving back and inspiring others. And I know it's not about money. And I've given up hiding anything. And I used to be fearful. I don't really tell anyone the income I've made from certain ventures, but I know that it's not about the money. For one, from experiences, but from one time we had a record-breaking weekend, $250,000 in a weekend, and I was stressed that night, thinking, damn, I need to do more. We need to make more. I need to push more. And that's when I knew I had to change my perspective, because that's not healthy. Because what's another million? What's another mansion? What's another Bentley? What's another car? What's more jewelry? That's why there's so much frustration, depression, discouragement, because there's so much comparison. If you're off yourself, then you don't need to compare. If you're comparing yourself to who you were yesterday, there's no jealousy, frustration, because you're not thinking about what other people are doing. You're so on purpose. Once again, you're off yourself. So if you're not good in front of the camera, if you don't feel like creating content, if you don't want to inspire, if you don't want to use your platform wisely, then realize it's not about that. It's about impacting people. And if you really want to be fulfilled, you have to understand the legacy aspect of what you do, all right? You'll never reach the next level of fulfillment and success if you're stuck on yourself, trust me. So I'm just going to give you 5 keys, 5 hacks, 5 untold truths about how to start impacting more people and get over yourself. Number 1, awareness. That's the first step. It's not about you. Your business, it's about your customers, your audience, your target market. And if you focus on them, the whole purpose of business is to create raving fans. The more raving fans you create, the more business you do, the more testimonials you get, the more referrals you get, the more word of mouth spreads, and your business is crushing it, right? You have to flip your perspective. So number 2 is, whether it's a team, whether it's customers, this is something that really changed the game for me, that I think if you run a team or you're looking to build a team, would really help you. You work for them, they don't work for you. So when I ran a sales team, and I still have probably 12, 13 people that work for me, when I shifted to I'm at your service, how can I serve you? I'm a servant, they're the master. Now you don't say this, but your perspective shifts, and I say, how can I help you? Oh, you need to stay late? No problem. I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I'm here to train you and help you be the best version of yourself, help you be the best trained and the most mentally tough assistant manager, sales manager, executive assistant, whatever possible. Then eventually it flips, because they get so good that they are taking a lot of your tasks, you're creating prodigies, you're duplicating yourself, then they don't want you there. The only way to level up and create more freedom for you and your family is to build an amazing, mentally tough, skilled sales team or team. And the only way to do that is by going extra mile for them and acting like you work for them. Because eventually that's how your lifestyle increases, because they're doing the work and they don't even want you in the office. We had so many times where my team was like, Peter, get out of here. We don't want you here. We got this. We got this. If your team says, we got this, don't worry about it, you go do what you do, you've won. Because that frees up your time to focus more on the business versus being in the trenches. You should not be in the trenches. So many people get into business to create lifestyle and freedom and flexibility, but their business is running them because you're thinking you have to do everything yourself. You're being Superman versus understanding that it's about duplicating yourself, creating systems, and only working on things that produce growth versus things that maintain. And that happens when you work for your people, not the other way around. 3, focus on content, not you. See, most of this is not focused on you. Because when you don't focus on you, you're the one that's taken care of the most in the end, right? Focus on content. Focus on what things that you've done. If you're 2 steps ahead of somebody, you can inspire them and help them cut their learning curve in half. If you have kids and someone doesn't, you can help them, right? So keep that in mind. When you focus on content, there's multiple different types of content. There's the tactical, like here's the 5 steps. There's the documentation of the journey. There's the inspiration. There's the humor and funny. There's the serious rants. Just mix it up. See what works, right? That's one of the biggest keys, is making sure that you switch it up. And if you've never ever got big results, document the process of how right now you're frustrated, you're broken, discouraged, but you're trying to get to your first 6 figures, and you're going to document everything, your successes and your failures. People relate more to your failures and frustrations than your successes. So if I say, I went from dead broke and I made $250,000 in a weekend, and I've had a record-breaking year, people are like, yeah, that's cool. But if I'm like, I was broke and discouraged and frustrated, I was working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, I felt worthless. I wasn't getting results. I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment. I was always like checking my wallet to see how much money I had to see if I can even afford dinner. I was always stressed about when the rent was due. People are like, I can relate to that, because it's true. I've been there, but I've also been to where I never have to worry about money, and I've flown on private jets. And when I share this stuff, here's another perspective, and this is me ranting to you, but you have to shift your perspective if you want to be a real game changer and build a real legacy. I did a rant on a jet. I could have said, this is stupid. I'm doing a rant on a jet. This seems kind of like stuck up and cocky. That's my ego getting in the way, and that's me focusing on myself. I. It's not about me. I wanted to inspire anybody out there, kids that have never seen that. They don't have any inspiration. So if I do a video on a jet and I get 150 people hating, saying, oh, you're on a jet, that's stupid. And I get 1 kid that's like, you inspired me. Thank you. You changed my life. I focus on that 1 kid because haters are going to hate regardless. They're never going to pay you. They're never going to do business with you. And you'll never meet a successful hater. But a lot of people focus so much on the negative and the haters and what they're going to think about them, they never actually get the real content out there, and they never actually change lives. So let me go back to the beginning. If you have anyone looks up to you, respects you, counts on you, it's your job and duty to inspire and to get your message out there, period. Don't focus on the people that will say, what are you doing? You're changing. Don't focus on them. They don't pay your bills. They don't pay your mortgage. They're going to hate regardless, right? So keep that in mind. Flip your perspective. Focus on the content, not you. 4. Pick a platform that you can do something that you can almost guarantee your consistency. Like you can systemize it where it happens every week no matter what. Pick a platform, then streamline. What I mean by this is, I have my podcast. When I do my podcast, I record it, and then our team turns it into audio for the podcast. The video goes on YouTube. They create a 1-minute snippet for Instagram. They create 4 or 5 swipe ups for Instagram. They create a 1 to 3 minute video for Facebook. They sometimes make an article about it to put on Entrepreneur and some other platforms. Then they create a 3-minute video, 2 to 3 minute video for Twitter. And then I also post on LinkedIn, and then we send it to our email list. And then we have a partnership with Entrepreneur that picks it up and they promote it. So that's one. This is me right here for 20 minutes, and it goes to 8, 9, 10 different places. You could do a Facebook Live every week. You just have to make it predictable and consistent, whether you feel like it or not, right? Pick one platform, Facebook Live, a podcast. You're doing a video a week. We did a select few Saturday back in 2013, every Saturday for like a whole year, right? And then you're streamlining. You don't need to do different content for Instagram, then different for YouTube, different for your podcast, different for an article, different for Facebook. Do the same thing and streamline. That's the biggest hack I've ever learned. We did a YEL podcast a couple months ago about streamlining that gives more detail. You can go back and listen to that. Maybe we can link it below. But that's a huge key. Pick a platform you can be consistent on every week, and it forces you to create content and level up. Another thing, give away your best content because it'll force you to create better content that people want to pay for. But the best way to create content that people pay for is to give a ton of value and develop like and trust in your audience and make them understand that you're really focused on value. A lot of people that join our academy, they say, this is one of the first things you ever asked for money for. And because you've changed my life with free content, I don't care what it is, I'm gonna make sure I invest in this because I know your philosophy. That's the goal, right? Number 5, legacy, legacy, legacy. If I'm talking to society, I don't bring up legacy. I'm not gonna bring up it's not about you. I'm not gonna bring up it's not about money. People are struggling to get by for the next week, right? How can you tell someone it's not about money when they don't have the mortgage payment for the next month? I'm talking about the people that wanna think longer term. I'm talking about the people that focus on delayed gratification. Is what I do today gonna help me become a better version of myself? Am I gonna thank myself in 3 years for these decisions I'm making today? Or am I gonna be pissed off, frustrated, and in massive regrets by the decisions I make today? Most of society makes decisions based off today or this week, not in 6 months or 2 years or 10 years, right? So my focus at the end of this is legacy, legacy, legacy. Is what you're doing today helping or hurting your legacy? Are you doing things right now that are just maintaining your life and getting by? Or are you doing things right now that's gonna produce amazing fruits of your labor later on? You gotta understand, every tweet, every message, every post, every video, every conversation, every connection you have either helps or hurts your legacy. Some of the stuff you put online is gonna be online for 100 years. And when you understand it's not about you, it's about the impact you're making, your whole perspective changes. And maybe this is not for everybody. Maybe you don't relate. This goes over some people's heads. I don't know. I just wanted to share this. I'd love to get your thoughts on the legacy focus, on being on purpose and off yourself, being focused on creating a movement versus how you feel. Because if you're off yourself, it doesn't matter how you feel. The Kobe Bryants, the Elon Musks, the Tony Robbins, the Denzel Washingtons, the Rocks, Drake, these kind of people, no, they don't care how they feel. They're so focused on the big picture, the next ambition, the next culture shift, the next movement maker. The last thing on their mind is how they feel. So if you're still on feelings, if you're still on I, you're not gonna create the impact and the legacy you want. And I know for you, you have that nagging pull inside. So hopefully these thoughts help. I'm so inspired. When I find out a 13-year-old's listening to me and watching my every move, there's nothing that inspires me more to know I'm impacting the youth in a positive direction. That's where it starts. So you're the rock for the people around you. It's not about you anymore. If you want to be a game changer, it's about the people you impact. So take that seriously. The best currency there is the effect you have on someone else. Take it seriously. Appreciate you guys. Let me know your comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear anything you do to get off yourself and on purpose. And until next time, continue to think and act like a game changer. Appreciate you guys.